What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Alright, so today we are going to be working on the 4Runner again, and we're going to be installing something that I've been wanting to do for this car since I got it. I did it on my last SUV, which is the Trailblazer, and it was installing a light bar. I also want to thank the sponsor for this video, which is Vic Off-Road USA, for pretty much supplying me with the light bar to make this possible. It is a LIGHTFOX light bar. Go ahead and check them out. Again, I will have their link in the description below. Vic Off-Road USA, they have a lot of different things. They got a lot of different accessories for your off-road use. Jeeps, GMCs, 4Runners, they have winches, they have light bars, different sizes. They even have floor mats, a lot of different things. Check out their website. Check them out, check out their light bars and everything else. But again, I have the link in the description. Again, thank you Vic Off-Road USA for supplying me with the LIGHTFOX light bar. All right, so now we're gonna go ahead and just get this thing started. I'm gonna show you guys the light bar. Now the light bar is a high quality bar. I had one on like I said earlier, on the Trailblazer that I installed myself, and it was decent, but it wasn't the best. I brought it from Amazon. But it was all right. It worked, and it still works to this day. My buddy Donald has it now on his Trailblazer, which is his Trailblazer now, and it's still working. But this light bar, it is a 30-inch light bar that I'm installing on this. The quality, just the build looks a lot better, including the wiring. Just looks a lot better, a lot more weatherproof. The connectors and everything look amazing. So basically, I'm gonna take a look at this. We're gonna unbox the whole thing here together. I'm gonna show it to you guys all laid out on the floor, what we need to do, and then we're gonna install it on this 4Runner. Now, where we're gonna be installing it on is going to be on this bottom grill here. We're gonna be removing the front bumper, putting it on the actual bumper behind this, or the front fascia we're gonna be removing and putting it on the actual metal bumper, and running the bar and the wiring through the inside here. And of course, the switch will probably be here. I was gonna do it here, and yes, I'm missing these two switches. The lights burned out. I'm waiting for lights to come in, but I was gonna put it right here, but it's just kind of too much to run it. I mean, once I get the wiring inside here, I make up my mind which way I want to run it, but easiest way to probably run it straight up to this point right here. Now, normally on the last video I did when I installed the light bar, I went ahead and pretty much did the whole connection of the light bar down here, put the light bar, and then ran the wiring. We're gonna do this a little bit backwards. We're gonna run the wiring first in this 4Runner because it's gonna be a tight fit. So let's show you guys here. I don't know if you guys can see it. Get you some more light there. The wiring is gonna be ran right in here, which is pretty much where the rubber grommet, where all the harnesses go in through. There's a small nipple that is still accessible there. You just gotta cut that little piece out, and that runs the wiring. Of course, it's because of course it runs all the way up there, and the hole for that wiring is about that big, probably less than that. And the wiring that we're gonna be fitting in there is about 3 wires that gotta go in. And if you guys can see it, it's still in the back here, but those are actually, yeah, about 3 wires that gotta go in there to make this connection possible. In a hole about that big. So it is a rubber, of course, grommet that's on there. Now it is a rubber grommet that's on there, so it should be easier. It should stretch out and kind of squeeze everything through there. So what I'm gonna do is basically we're gonna run that wiring through there, and we're gonna use some actual electrical tape to kind of tie everything up with. But anyways, I'm gonna show you how this light bar looks right now. All right, so here is pretty much the light bar. We're gonna open this box out, and again, it's pretty. It's got some weight to it. Take those out. And there it is. Now it is 30 inches, so I can't show it all on camera. I'll actually give you a wide view in a second here of everything, but nice metal, nice finish and everything else. And again, look at the light bars, all those LEDs in there. You can kind of see everything in there. Of course, their logo on the side, LIGHTFOX right there. And inside the box, you have the brackets. Come with the brackets. You get the Allen wrench, of course. And I already opened this up, by the way, guys. I kind of cheated before this, but here's all the mounting screws and everything else for this. Also, you're gonna want to, of course, when you get the light bar, Here's the wiring for it. Now, when you get the wiring, you get a couple different things here. This is actually some additional wiring if you're gonna be doing another light bar or 2 more light bars. It's basically 2 more connectors that you can plug in to the main switch here to actually run a total of 3 light bars. So we're not gonna be using that because we're only gonna be running 1 light bar on this car. There you go. This is pretty much the connectors here. This is gonna go to your battery. You got your relay right here in the middle of everything. You gotta be plugged into everything. Your switch on off, I might be replacing this switch. I did buy my own switch actually, which is right over here. Now I picked this up from Amazon, but again, they send you your switch there. Zombie lights. But I'll see how this connects to this switch, or I might just use their switch and return that other switch. But either way, here's everything. Again, there's another relay right here. Now this is the original relay that comes with it. This is an addition. So you get the first relay here, and then the additional relay that already comes connected. This is a 40 amp relay, but one is a 14 volts. The other one's a 24 volts. So, and of course there's your connector right there. Again, I'm gonna show you guys this all laid out on the floor here so you get a better look at all this. But again, wiring is all weatherproof. It's all enclosed in this weatherproof seal here. Everything's nice and tight. Same thing with the connector. It's got a nice little rubber grommet that goes around it to seal it from any water getting in there. All right, so there you have it. Light bar, and that's the entire wiring harness. That would be from the front, where the light bar is gonna be, all the way through. You have a amp right there with your connectors to your battery, the relay here, and then of course going inside to the switch. So that is the entire system. Again, this part here will be the easy part. It's getting that wiring inside the car that is going to be a pain, maybe. So, but I'm gonna show how to do that. So we're gonna start by removing the panel just to make some more room to run the wiring through. On this panel, you're gonna have 2 10mm bolts that are at the bottom of it. Go ahead and remove both of those, and then just pull the panel straight forward and everything should come out. Now there are gonna be 2 connectors, at least on mine there's 2 connectors. One is for the differential lock, and the other one is for the 120 volt outlet that's in the center console. Once you do that, you're just gonna kind of leave it hanging down here. You don't have to pull it completely off of there. All right, so this is as much as we need to get all this out, and that is because we're gonna be basically running this through this small hole right here. Now, there was a rubber grommet in there. I already took it out. Right behind that, there is the insulation, and right behind that is the plastic, and that comes out right above the main wiring harness grommet. So it's like they're like it diagonally right up above it. So basically what you guys want to do is take this little thing, you can take it, use a screwdriver, take it out. Once you open it, access this up, I'm going to drill a small hole in there to get the wiring in through there. Then I'm going to try basically to get this middle piece out of here and make a hole through this to be able to put this plug back in there to kind of keep it nicely tightly sealed. And then we'll put some flex seal or something around this and around the actual wiring just to keep it even more sealed. Now, I don't expect to ever be in water this deep, but there are people out there that, like I've seen pictures on, especially on Facebook forums, there's a 4Runner this deep into the water. Front lights are all buried in and the rest of the car is up out of there. But again, I don't ever expect that. The lights are water resistant, but again, if you're up this deep, I don't think that would be good if you get that deep into the water. Again, I don't know, but this is pretty high up for any water to come down and everything else. And again, we're gonna be reinstalling this over it. We're gonna be making a hole in this as well, just to kind of run all the wiring through that as well. So that's the small little hole right there. Again, it's right where your main harness grommet is. So go ahead and take your drill and a 3/8 bit. Now when you're drilling here and you're going on an angle, be careful not to hit any of the wiring that's there for the brake master cylinder, because you could damage that and then you'll have another issue in your hands. Once you drill the hole, go ahead and take a coat hanger. That's what I use, at least here. I unraveled the metal coat hanger and wrapped up the
wiring with some electrical tape and just kind of fed it through the small hole I made. Once you get it to the other side, unravel everything, check everything. I did hit a bracket that was behind the hole I made, so I ended up having to use some needle nose pliers to kind of pull the whole wiring through. And it did damage some of the insulation, which I ended up actually just kind of electrical taping everything together properly. Once you got the line through though, go ahead and feed it to wherever you're gonna actually kind of do your connection. So if you're doing it in your center console or wherever you're gonna be doing it. I'm gonna be doing it right behind the panel. There are 2 open spaces to be able to put a switch in. So it's gonna be right behind this panel, right behind the steering wheel pretty much. Once you have the line ran, now it's time to go ahead and remove the bumper. Since I'm putting it right behind the bumper by the lower grille, we're gonna need to remove this whole bumper. Now it has 12 total screws, 2 on each fender well, 2 on the bottom, and then a total of 4 underneath the car itself. And of course, there's 2 more on each side over here, total of 12 screws to be removed. Once all the screws are removed, go ahead and unplug your fog light and your turn signal. It's easier just to pull the whole bulb assembly out. That's what I did here, kind of just leave them hanging there. Then there's gonna be a trim piece you have to remove. Now to do this trim piece, I covered it on one of my other videos, but I'll put it here again. You take a needle nose pliers, press on the clips and push up at the same time. You can use your offhand, of course, to do this. Once that is removed, there's 3 more plastic skips that need to get out, and then the bumper will be ready to come out.
Alright, so once you have all the bolts out, all the clips off, and you're pretty much ready to pull the bumper off, because it's literally just gonna, you pull it straight out towards you and it's gonna come right out. My suggestion is, if you are mounting the bar where I'm mounting it, which is down here, okay? My suggestion would be, since you can feel the actual bumper right there, is grab a piece of tape on each side and mark where the bumper is at, where there's actual plastic trim ends. For the simple fact I say that is because when you mount the bar on here, you're gonna more likely have to cut a piece of this off. Now, I'm thinking, of course, once you get the bumper off, you'll be able to remove this trim piece, and then we'll figure out where the light's gonna go after that. But you wanna know where the light's gonna mount onto the bumper. And that's why you need to mark this with some tape. So either tape or marker, or whatever you have to mark that middle piece, if you wanna get some kind of, make some kind of scratch mark on the bumper or something like that. That's what I would suggest doing. I'm gonna take some tape and mark it right in that piece, in that part right there, right where it meets the corners. So that gives me a reference of where the light bar is gonna be. Again, this is 35 inches from here to here. The light bar is 30. So that gives me 5 inches to work with, which is 2.5 inches aside, that I would be able to try to center this thing as best as possible.
Alright, so just like I said, what I did basically just grab some painter's tape and go ahead and just mark the location of where the grill actually ends on each side. That way you have a reference point of where this light's gonna be, so you kind of get it right in the center, even though we're still gonna measure your center points of the bumper and of course the center point of the light bar to get it perfectly in the middle. But once you do that, the bumper just pulls right out. Literally just grab the bumper from the bottom, from each side, and pop it straight out and then set it to the side somewhere.
All right, so I went ahead and marked it. You guys saw me mark it in there. And that's pretty much 34.5. Now I said 35 earlier because I was measuring from exactly this part here to this part, but when you go in here and measure from plastic trim to plastic trim over here, it is 34.5. So now that we got that marked, we're gonna go ahead and put the light bar brackets on and gonna see exactly where we're gonna mount it. Now I'm gonna try to mount it as close to the edge as possible. That way it looks more flush with the other piece that's in there. It's not gonna be 100% sticking out, and the light bar can be kind of adjusted a little bit here and there, but we're gonna try to mount it as closest to the edge as possible to try to basically compensate for the slight gap here. Now, of course, I would love it to be even with this piece, but that's not gonna happen. It may be a little bit recessed in, but it's okay. It'll be good enough at that point. So let's go ahead and start pretty much mocking it up onto the bumper and then getting it ready to install it on the bumper. All right, so with the help of my dad, he showed up over here and my mom, they came to visit. But with the help of them, they actually helped me hold the light bar here and measure, of course, to get everything centered properly. So all the tape marks you see is basically, this is the center where the light bar is gonna go, and of course where we're gonna make the hole to screw this in. So right now, basically, I'm just gonna take a step bit and make a small hole right through here. And with this vehicle, it actually falls perfectly where I could put the actual nut right in here. Same thing on this side, kind of just perfect. It actually works out perfect with this car. So I'm gonna go ahead and make the 2 holes to be able to put the light bar on there.
Now what I did here is I used the step bit and I only went down to the 2nd notch. I did not have the size because all the sizes are kind of worn out on my step bits, but the 2nd notch was good enough. Then I took a 3/16 tap and then tap both holes. The reason I did that is because I wanted to have a better grip, so I could actually screw in the hole onto the actual bumper. On top of that, use the nut from underneath. Now, while I was here, of course, on these 4Runners, they're known to rust. You guys can see all the rust on there. I kind of cleaned some of it off and I sprayed some fluid film all over it, including the new holes I made, just to prevent any additional rust.
All right, so the light is installed, secure on there. Still gotta adjust it to make sure that it's not blinding anybody, so that'll be at the end. Got the cable up here. What I did on this vehicle, I ran the cable underneath the headlight. You can see it right there. So it goes right under the headlight, comes out this way, and comes out through here. It's gonna go down to here. The connector is right over here. So it's all hanging there. Now we're gonna basically do the connections for power. Again, the cable's already ran to the inside of the car, so you just gotta connect this negative and positive cable and find a place to mount this relay and be all done. And of course, then tuck the cables in. So I'm gonna go ahead and keep doing that, and I'll be back with you guys when it's all done. All right, so we got the connections made, and it's basically just kind of all wires everywhere because they're not fully connected, not ran properly, because I just wanted to test everything. So my dad's over there by the switch. Go ahead, Dad, hit the switch. And we got light. So it looks actually pretty good. Pretty bright. Again, we'll drive it at night and see how bright it actually is at nighttime. But so far, like I said, easy. The only part that was a pain was running the wiring. That was the hardest part of everything. Other than that, everything running the wiring and even hooking this thing up was not as bad. But we're gonna go ahead and basically hide all the wiring now. Make sure it looks, there's no wiring just like it is right now. And we should be all done. Put the bumper back together. All right, so light is set up, wiring is ran. I still have to do the inside over here. Finish this up. That's gonna be the easy part. We are now, again, thanks to my dad, keep saying we, but Dad's here. We are now gonna be cutting the bumper. So basically we already measured. We're gonna go from the actual light itself, so not the yellow part of the light, but from the actual light, from here to here, to get the right cut. And then basically we're gonna be cutting these off here, and then kind of leveling these out here. So this whole center piece, this whole stack here is gonna just come right out. And we'll have a gap there, and the light should fit perfectly in there and look almost like factory. So we'll get cutting right now. All right, so I finished working on the light bar yesterday. The car was done last night. I had to do some things. I wasn't able to finish filming. On top of that, my cameras died and I didn't even charge them overnight, which was my fault, completely forgot. So I'm filming the last of it on my iPhone. So here's the thing. The light bar was easy to install. Everything was super simple. No haggling. Wire, you got enough room. Even if you wanted to put the light bar on the back of the car and bring everything to the front, you have all that wiring they give with you, they give to you. But one thing that I did not like 100%, and this is going to be on basically the install of it's on my own part, it has nothing to do with the actual light bar, is the fact that it didn't come out like I wanted it to. So if you look at this, I wanted it to be more flush than it is here. See how it's kind of all the way inside of there? It's not sticking out where I wanted to. So that kind of, if you go close to it, like I'm showing to you guys here, you can see, of course, the cuts that I made here, cuts made over there, and of course, the cuts made on the front fender. Now, or the front bumper here, these areas here. Now, I would love for the bar to come out a little bit further out, so it wouldn't basically be so far in, but in a way, I guess it's a good thing that it's kind of a little bit far in there, so it doesn't get hit with rocks or anything right away, even though it is pretty sturdy. I believe that is plastic in there. It doesn't seem like it's weak or anything like that. And also, it doesn't seem like a cheap plastic. It doesn't seem like it's something that's gonna yellow out. And again, everything, they look decent. I mean, like I said, it's a good quality. So I mean, I don't think there should be any problems where it's at right now. That might just be a preference thing. Let me know what you guys think, and let me know if you guys have any ideas on how I can get this light to come out maybe about 2 inches further out, just to give it a flush. And at the end of the video, I'm gonna show you guys all the shots basically with the light bar off, the light bar on, with all the lights on and everything else. Show you guys how it looks, and a shot from inside the car on how it lights up the road. But it does a great job, good quality. The wiring is all there, and it's very easy to install. It is only on what car you're installing it and how hard it is to install it on that car and where you're gonna be mounting it on that car. And this one wasn't that bad. Just running the wiring to inside the vehicle is the only place you had to figure out, but that was figured out pretty easily. Other than that, it was a straightforward connection. So again, go ahead and check them out. Vic Off-Road USA. It is LIGHTFOX, is the actual manufacturer of the lighting, and again, it looks good. I like the way it turned out. 30-inch LED bar, and it looks amazing. Just got to bring it out just a little bit. That's about it. But overall, happy with the whole product, and I'm sure you guys will be too. So that is the end of this video. I hope you guys did enjoy it. If you have any suggestions or comments, or let me know what kind of lights you guys put in your vehicles, let me know in the comments down below. If you guys liked the video, go ahead and hit the subscribe button, hit that like button, and I'll see you guys on my next video. Take care.